Today, we're digging into one of the most unsettling, just completely baffling cases in modern Indian history. It's a story that really blurs the lines between faith, family, and what can only be described as a chilling shared delusion. And this is really the central, haunting question, isn't it? I mean, how does an entire family, we're talking 3 generations, from a 77-year-old grandmother all the way down to 2 15-year-old boys, how do they all die together on the very same night in the same house?
Okay, so our story starts here, in Burari, a pretty busy neighborhood in North Delhi. It's July 1st, 2018. It seemed like a completely normal Sunday morning, until a neighbor noticed something was off. The Chundawat family's shop, which was always open on time, was still closed, so he went to check on them. And what he found, well, it would go on to horrify the entire nation.
Inside that house, 11 members of the Chundawat Pariwar, the Chundawat family, were found dead. An entire household, just gone in a single night.
And the scene itself was a complete puzzle. I mean, just listen to this. 10 of the family members were found hanging from an iron grill in the ceiling, almost arranged like the roots of a banyan tree. The oldest, 77-year-old Narayani Devi, she was found in another room, dead on the floor. But here's the really crucial part. All of them were blindfolded. Their hands and feet were tied. And yet, the house was locked from the inside. There was no sign of a break-in, no sign of any struggle. It was just deeply, deeply disturbing, and made absolutely no sense at all.
So right away, the police are facing this massive question. What on earth happened here? You had murder, suicide, or something else entirely? And none of the initial theories were adding up.
All right, let's just break this down for a second. Could it have been a mass murder? Probably not, right? The doors weren't forced, nothing of value was stolen, and the autopsies, they confirmed there were 0 signs of a struggle. So, okay, what about a mass suicide pact? Well, that seemed even crazier. I mean, why would you tie your own hands? And how could you possibly convince an entire family, kids included, to go along with something like that? The whole scene just defied any logical explanation.
The investigation was pretty much at a dead end, until a search of the house turned up something that would change absolutely everything. It turns out the answer wasn't outside the house at all. It was inside, written down, waiting to be found.
The police found a stack of 11 diaries. And these weren't just simple journals. The entries went back for 11 years, and they documented the family's life in this incredibly detailed, almost obsessive way. You see, this wasn't just a record of their lives. It was a set of instructions, a script for how they should live, and as it turns out, for how they should die.
And just listen to this. This is a direct quote from one of those diaries. "The sky will shake, the earth will tremble, but you must not be afraid. Your father is here to save you." I mean, that gives you a real sense of the absolute conviction they must have had. They truly believed they were being guided, that they were being protected by a higher power, specifically the spirit of the family patriarch who had passed away years before.
So here's the crucial piece of the puzzle. The diaries. They were mostly written by Lalit, the younger son. Now, years earlier, Lalit had suffered a head injury and gone through a really traumatic event. After that, he became convinced that he was a medium for his late father's spirit. He was the one dictating all these instructions for every single aspect of their lives, from business decisions to their daily rituals or puja. And the family, they believed him. They believed that following these instructions would bring them prosperity and eventually salvation, what's known as moksha. And that final ritual, they were told it wasn't suicide at all. It was just a temporary ceremony, and they would all be saved.
Okay, so this brings us to the psychological explanation, because this is really the only way we can even begin to understand the unthinkable. How does one person's belief become the fatal reality for 10 other people? Well, the leading theory points to a very rare condition called shared psychotic disorder. You might also hear it called folie à plusieurs. Basically, the idea is that a delusion gets transmitted from a primary person to other secondary people who are in a really close relationship with them. In this case, Lalit was the primary. He was the one with the original delusion. And then over many years, inside this very close, very trusting, and very isolated family unit, his powerful beliefs were just transferred to everyone else who became the secondaries. And think about it, some of his prophecies seemed to come true. The family's business got better, a wedding was arranged, all of that just reinforced his authority and made the delusion feel real. So they weren't just blindly following him, they were actually sharing his reality.
And this all led to their final moments. The diaries laid out the plan for this ritual with just chilling precision. They were supposed to hang like the roots of a banyan tree, which was meant to symbolize their connection to the patriarch. They had to cover their eyes and ears to shut out the world and heighten their spiritual focus. And they genuinely believed, 100%, that at the very last moment, the spirit of their father would appear and save every single one of them. It was supposed to be a demonstration of their faith, but instead it became an accidental mass suicide.
The police officially closed the case, concluding it was a ritual that had gone horribly wrong. But, the impact of this story, it continues to raise some really profound and difficult questions.
You see, this whole tragedy really forced a difficult conversation across India. It shined a huge spotlight on the stigma that surrounds mental illness, a stigma that so often stops people from getting the help they need. It lets these kinds of psychological issues just fester untreated, especially within a really tight-knit family. This case showed everyone how a socially isolated group with these deep-seated beliefs and a powerful leader, well, it can lead to catastrophic results, completely beyond the reach of anyone on the outside.
And the thing is, to everyone who knew them, the Chandrawat family just seemed normal. They were happy, successful, religious. Their story is just such a tragic reminder of the hidden psychological currents that can be running beneath the surface of any family. And it forces all of us to ask a really uncomfortable question. Where is that line between unwavering faith, which is supposed to give us comfort and guidance, and a fatal delusion that has the power to destroy everything?